Hey guys, it's Coach James Wilson here to go over some new coaching cues that I've been working on for cockpit control. I read a book recently on what the most effective coaching cues tend to be, and so they tend to be things that have you focusing on something external. So for example, when we're talking about body position on the bike and what our basic body position should be for good cockpit control, one of the things that we tend to focus on is elbows, or even I talk about your shoulder blades, keeping your shoulders down and back. But really, that is not the most effective cue that we could be using according to the science. Getting you guys to focus on something external is going to be better. So what is the point of having your hands on the handlebars? And the basic point is to be able to create and absorb pressure through the bars. That's what you're trying to do. That's how you maintain your balance. That's how you execute your skills on the bike. It's this pressure. And so the pressure is affected by where your weight is. And the weight on the bike is basically your hips in relation to your bike's bottom bracket. Your bike's bottom bracket in this area is its center of gravity. Your center of gravity is around the hips. And so as you move your hips around the bike, you're going to have different balance points and different weight shifts. And so what's the best way to know where you're at without having to think about all these different things? And so what I've been working on is a cue to help you guys understand how to have good purposeful pressure through your palms into the bars. Because once you understand how to have good purposeful pressure and then how to use that to put more weight on your hands when you need to take less weight off the front end when you need to, then you're going to have a much easier time understanding what the best position to be balanced is in different scenarios. So what we're going to do is take a look at how to get set up for this drill. So what you're going to need is a roll of athletic tape. And so you're just going to take and rip a strip off of it, and then you're going to wrap it around your palm. And so where you want it on your palm is a very specific area. You want it across your palm from the web right here of the thumb over across here to this meaty part. And so you're going to take the tape and you're going to wrap it around your hand at least one time so that you've got that tape across that diagonal spot on your palm. So that's where you want the tape. Now this is where you want to be applying pressure, all right? So if you're lifting a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a barbell, anything like that, anytime you're holding onto a bar, this is the best place for you to be holding it to apply pressure. And so this is what we're going to look at on our bike. So what I want to have is that tape on the handlebar as I put my hand on the handlebar. So I'm going to go ahead and get on the bike here so you can see a couple things that you can do once we get set. So again, I've got that tape set on the handlebar, and now I'm ready. I want to be able to apply pressure through that tape into the handlebar. That's my focus. And so you can play around with your elbow position, right? So if I bring my elbows real far in, you'll see how my hand tends to peel up and I lose pressure on the inside of my hand here, okay? And then if I flare my elbows real far out, you'll see how my hand comes up, and now I have a harder time applying pressure on the outside. So elbows too far in, and I've got less pressure on the inside, too much on the outside. Elbows too far out, and now I've got too much pressure on the inside, not enough on the outside. So you'll see that if I just focus on getting good, even pressure across that tape into the bar, that my elbows and shoulders and my upper body will naturally go into the best position for me to do that. So just let your body get into that position, and now you can practice moving around on the bike. So I'll show you a couple of drills. So when you're on the bike, you want to have some weight and pressure on the front end. You need weight and pressure for steering, for your front brake to work effectively. So trying to keep no weight or pressure on your hands is not the way to go. You want the right amount for the situation. So a little bit of pressure as kind of a neutral thing is good. So even if I stand up, I have a little bit of pressure on my hands here. Now you'll notice that if I shift my weight forward and my shoulders start to come over my hands, I'm going to feel more pressure on my palms. And if I shift my weight back, I'm going to feel less pressure, and eventually I'll feel no pressure and start to feel more on my fingers here. And so you can tell where your weight is on the bike based on that pressure of of the tape into the bar. And so a neutral position is a little bit. As I start to get forward, it's going to increase. As I bring my weight back, it's going to decrease. Now, I want to be able to, one, shift my weight forward and back, and I want to be able to move up and down. So I've got my tall position, and then I've got my attack position, my low position. And so I want to be able to go through this full range of motion. But again, I want to watch what happens to the pressure of the tape into the handlebar. A mistake that I see a lot of riders make is as they come down into their attack position, they tend to shift their weight back. You know, maybe they're dropping their heels or whatever what they're thinking about, but they're losing that weight on their palms. Now, that might be the right thing to do in some situations, but it's not the right thing to do in every situation. So you should be able to drop down into your attack position and back up to your tall position while maintaining consistent pressure through the tape into the handlebar. And you should be able to come down and add to it. And you should be able to come down and take away from it. So neutral, adding, and then taking away from that pressure. So doing that, and then you can get out on your bike and practice some. I'll have a video kind of showing, again, just going through these movement drills while I'm moving. But if you have a trainer or a way to set your bike up to do this stationary like this, that's the best way to start, because it'll really let you focus on the pressure of that tape, keeping that good pressure through the tape into the handlebars. And so once you get an idea of how to move and keep that pressure more effectively, you're going to have better body position and be able to move in a more balanced way on your bike and be able to move your weight as you need to, instead of not really understanding what's going on when you're moving because you're losing pressure or whatever that may be and you don't realize it. So, so the tape across the palm, give you something external to think about, that pressure into the handlebars. Just figure out how you can move while effectively keeping that pressure where you want it, and it's going to improve all the other stuff. So give it a shot and let me know what you think.